Hello everybody and welcome. This is History Dude, and today we will be continuing our series of the history of battle with the Siege of Troy, which is legendary but has some basis in historical fact. Now, the Siege of Troy is narrated in the Iliad, attributed by the ancient Greeks to the poet Homer. It tells of a conflict between the Trojans and Greeks that started when Paris, Prince of Troy, abducts Helen, the wife of King Menelaus of Sparta. Menelaus' brother Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, takes an army in, quote, 1,000 ships to besiege Troy. Now, these numbers suggest that the Greeks brought about 102,000 men to the field. Now, the siege lasts 10 years, during which time many heroic combats are fought by heroes such as the Greek Achilles and the Trojan Hector. Eventually, the Greeks take the city by a trick. Pretending to abandon the siege, they leave behind a wooden horse with a force of men hidden inside. Now, before we get to that, I just want to show you a map of Troy and Mycenae. So this is the city of Mycenae in the area, and here's Troy. So they went across the Aegean Sea to modern-day Asia Minor, and that is where the Battle of Troy happened. Now, here is the depiction of the wooden horse that took the Greeks inside Troy. We have no idea what the horse looked like, honestly. This is from the movie Troy from 2004. I picked it because, I mean, it looks the most realistic because it looks like it's just like put together from scraps of wood. All the other depictions that I saw were just literal horses, like beautiful craftsmanship. Like, no way that the Greeks were going to pull that off. So it would have been something like this, just rickety shabs of wood just constructed together to form a horse. If this even happened, by the way, because, you know, this is all based on historical legend. Now, a further Greek left behind, Sinon actually, tells the Trojans that the horse is an offering to the goddess Athena and persuades them to drag it into the city, enabling the men inside to emerge at night and open the city gates to the rest of the Greek force. The Greeks had no doubt that this story represented a historical event. And this is what happened when the horse, when they got out of the horse. It was the sack of Troy. They burned the whole city down. This is just a oil painting, a depiction by Johann Georg Trautmann from the 18th century. So this is in no way what it looked like. Just imagine ancient buildings burning, and you'll get an idea of what it might have been like at Troy. The whole city would have been on fire. Now, Alexander the Great made a pilgrimage to the site traditionally identified as Troy, Hisarlik, in modern Turkey, before embarking on his conquests of the Persian Empire. Now, archaeologists have discovered Bronze Age settlements at this site, one of which seems to have been destroyed in the 13th century BCE, which is the same time frame of the historical, Siege of Troy. That's when it was supposed to have happened. There is speculation that the Iliad represents a folk memory of a real event, a war between the Mycenaeans and an enemy tentatively identified as the Hittites. Mycenae was certainly a flourishing warlike power in Greece in the 13th century BCE. Here's a map of what Mycenae looked like. It was huge. As you can see, they had many trading ports, and it was a huge collection, a confederation of Greek city-states, and it brought them a lot of power. It was ruled by a king with the support of a warrior aristocracy who rode chariots and used bronze weapons and armor. Now, Mycenae exercised influence over a wide area and had trade contacts with the city we can, for convenience, call Troy. A plausible case has been made for the Mycenaeans raiding Troy, either for plunder or with the goal of establishing permanent control over a key point in its regional trading network. It is a large leap, however, from plausibility to fact. The Trojan War remains a legend, even if one with some historical basis. And here is a depiction of the fighting over the body of Patroclus during the Trojan War. And here is a depiction of Mycenaean armor, which This bronze suit of armor dates from around 1450 BCE and was probably more suited to a charioteer than a foot soldier. Now, the helmet was made from boar's tusks. You have a cheek guard and a neck protector, and you have shoulder plates and thick, heavy plates for the center. And that would give you an idea of what the Mycenaean warrior might have looked like around this time frame. Because, as you know, history from this ancient of a time, we know so little. We're just lucky to get the scraps that we have. So I hope you have enjoyed this presentation on the Siege of Troy. This has been History Dude. As always, have an awesome day.